Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. 'Cause I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. 'Cause you are strong, you are sure, you are light, you endure, you are good, always true, you are light breaking through. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Speak what is true. Speak what is true. I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free. 'Cause you are strong, you are sure, you are light, you endure, you are good, always true, you are light breaking through, you are more than enough, you are here, you are love, you are hope, you are grace, all I have for everything. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Speak what is true. Speak what is true.
So let's begin our time together by being joined heart to heart. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale with your hand on your heart. Feel your heartbeat. When you feel your heartbeat, remember the heartbeat of all your loved ones, all those around you. All those who wish you peace, all those who wish you harm. Let's just bring everyone into our hearts. Send out our love, our compassion, our understanding, our forgiveness. Let's ask to be used in the service of all that is good and kind and compassionate. To have eyes that see each other as brothers and sisters. To have voices that speak words of kindness and reassurance. To have hearts of compassion and understanding. To be instruments of peace, to be compassionate responders. To wake up every day with the dedication of doing better and being better, to rising higher, praying harder, loving steadily, forgiving readily. As we ask to be guided and told where to go, what to do, what to say, and to whom, and with the very deep understanding that we are here to be connected, to be compassion in action, in mind, body, and spirit, that we see the change within ourselves and the change outside of ourselves as well. We pray to be consistent and persistent in our dedication, in our discipleship, in our stewardship. And in our gratitude for every opportunity that we have to be a blessing, to our brothers and our sisters, our kindred spirits, our mighty companions, and those who do not agree with us, those who don't walk with us. To just consistently be in that place of steady commitment, steady steadfastness. As we move into this time together, we give thanks for the opportunity to be connected, to remember that we are brothers and sisters on this path, equals. We are equals, equally working toward the movement of Christ consciousness. So let's take another nice deep breath together and exhale into this moment. Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Holy Thursday. It's good to be here. It's good to be with you. It's good to be walking this path with you. Dedicated, committed, consistent. We're almost done with this year. What a year it's been. So many things have tried to shake us up. So many things have tried to shake the ground beneath us. So many things have tried to shake our trust, because it's been a difficult year. It's been trying. It's been painful at times. So tonight we're just going to remember our dedication to keep moving toward this place of connection to the divine, regardless of what is going on in our lives. And as difficult as that may be sometime today, we're just going to remember that no matter what happens, we keep showing up. We keep moving into this place of remembering what our ultimate truth is, which is to see beyond this time and space, beyond this body, to a place of higher consciousness, of Christ consciousness. So let's talk about that a little bit. Also, just to remind you that next Thursday's Thanksgiving, we will not be meeting live. We'll have I will have a throwback video for you to watch if you happen to be post-dinner looking for something to do and relax and connect with your spiritual community. It will be here for you. So that's next Thursday. So our next live stream will be December 1st. That's 2 weeks from today, December 1st. So I started thinking about last week when I was looking at the schedule and thinking about the fact that this would be our last Thursday in November because of Thanksgiving. I started thinking about gratitude, thanksgiving and appreciation. Like, are these synonyms or is there a difference? And I wondered how the course differentiated one from the other, if it did. And I kind of got caught up in the thinking mind, you know, the part of me that wanted to find some logical differentiation. I even looked it up on Google, you know, is there a difference? And, you know, there was some article that said there is an important difference between gratitude and thanks. And so I'm reading it, and it didn't seem very significant to me. I wasn't really able to come up with a specific way to define the difference between gratitude. And I realized what was happening was that I was just getting caught up in logic and in theory and trying to come up with something other than to just be in the moment of letting Spirit guide me. We talk about this all the time, let Spirit guide us, right? But here I was trying to make something happen because I wanted to be able to talk about the specifics of gratitude as it is defined in A Course in Miracles. And there is a lesson, 195, that says, love is the way I walk in gratitude. And 197 says, it can be but my gratitude I earn. So I kept thinking, well, I guess that it's just gratitude that the Course is talking about. And it's not using Thanksgiving. But I was wrong. Because somehow, and you know, I don't question these things, I came up across this lesson. And it was lesson 123. I thank my Father for his gifts to me. And we're going to go over this a little bit more later, but I'm just going to point out some things. It starts out, paragraph 1, today let us be thankful. 2, this is a day devoted to gratitude. 3, give thanks. 4, in gratitude we lift our hearts. So it's like every other paragraph was using the words differently. And so I kind of had to laugh at myself, like, oh, why am I getting so caught up in semantics when the Course specifically tells us time and time again that words are symbols and we are not to get caught up in words. When we do get caught up in words and semantics, it's usually because we're in our heads and not in our hearts. In Miracles with a Twist, from the beginning, we have said we're committed to taking this course from heady to hearty, from the head to the heart. From the heady stuff that one of the biggest complaints that people have had about this course when they just read it is that it's very heady, which is what we're trying to get away from, because it really is not when we live it. It's not about just reading it and getting caught up in semantics. It's about how can we truly live it? How can we live these principles? How can we step into the idea of Christ consciousness and truly finding a way for us to be in that higher consciousness, and how we work with people, how we live with people, how we work with our own selves, how we think, how we see, constantly looking at the possibility of the transformation within us. So then something happened. If those, I started out right after the prayer by saying, it's been a difficult year. And if you know me, if you know the details of my life this past year, it's been death and dying. It's been death and dying. We had some tragic deaths in our family. It's some very shocking situations that have occurred. And then the other day I get a phone call that was yet another shocker. And I remember as I was getting ready to get in my car to go to the hospital to see yet another friend, and I was saying, no, I can't do it. I can't take it. I can't. And then I got in my car and I'm driving to the hospital and I thought, well, yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can show up. I can take it. I can do whatever it is I need to do, even if it's one more thing. And the good news about bad news is that we can show up. We can continue to function in this place of service, in this place of love, in this place of compassion, in this place of use me as I need to be used. Let me be a helpful, hopeful servant right now in this situation, because 10 minutes ago I thought I couldn't take it. I thought it was just one more thing that I would not be able to handle it. And it turns out that no matter what it is, if you have faith, if you have trust, if you have a practice that has created some strength in you, a foundation within you on which you stand firm, then you are not going to be shaken by yet another situation, another circle of life situation. Doesn't mean you're not going to get upset, doesn't mean you're not going to feel worried or shaken. Because we all get shaken, but you know what? After we get shaken and stirred or whatever else that's happening, we come back out of it to see who we were in it. And that's how we know how much we have progressed on our spiritual path, by how much stability we have created under our feet. You know, I think about kids in these countries who don't even have shoes, you know, and they're walking for miles and miles to go to school, and they don't have shoes on their feet, and how they get calloused, their feet get calloused and leather-like, you know, and they might find the simplest thing to protect their feet. They might find something on the street that they can make to protect their feet, and then they become so grateful that they have something now, and it could be the simplest thing, something we may have discarded and thrown away. Because it's all about how we use what we have. And if you only have one little sliver of faith left, only one little sliver of trust left within you, then use that. We have to use whatever it is that Spirit has provided for us as the tools, as the substance of what we have within us and what we're capable of rising to. And it's not about that old adage, you've heard that thing, well, God won't give you anything you can't handle. You know what? God's not giving us this stuff. It's just the cycle of life, the circle of life, and the place that we have put ourselves into. We are stepping into the light. Like the Lamed Vad Zedekayim from the Hindu scripture that says that there are beams of light. There are places where we can step into to rise to the occasion of to being of service. And I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. But it's the idea of the light opportunities, the beams of light that exist throughout the world at any given time. And that we can step into there to have that strength that's given from within. So it's not the difficulties that are handed to us by God. It's not the hardships. It's not the occasional tragedies. It's the strength. That's what's given to us by God. That's what's given to us by Spirit, is the remembering of who we are, the remembering of what we have, the remembering of what we're capable of. That's what we have. That's what we have access to. That's what we can hold on to. And that's what we can remember. So yeah, you can get in the car on the way to the hospital and yell and scream and bang on the steering wheel, if you're me, and say, no, not one more thing. But you know what? You can. It's amazing what you can do. Because the world, circumstances, situations, hardships are not going to end. They're not going to stop. We can live this happy dream. We can create and manifest amazing things. But that doesn't mean that those other things aren't going to happen. They are. They're going to happen. Everything that we see in the world is happening because we as humankind have created a place of insanity. The earth is the insane asylum of the universe. So as long as that's true, we're going to see insane things. And maybe it's karma. I don't know. We're not going to talk about that because that's not a big thing in the Course of Miracles. But, maybe some of us were just dealt different hands. I know people who have never experienced a death in their life. Then there's people like me who've had just so many. So why? Because the Course tells us that it is written. The script was written for each one of us. We all have our own curriculum. So just like when you're working on a master's degree or a doctorate or a bachelor's, whatever it is you're working on a degree, you go to school and you want to come out of it with this particular degree, but you don't know what courses you have to take. You don't know the specifics of the homework, of all the work you're going to have to do. You just know what the outcome is that you're looking for. And I think that's true of all of us in this embodiment. We came in with a certain amount of predestined situations that we were going to either choose to rise and handle well, or we can choose to run away. I don't have to answer phone calls. We don't have to answer phone calls. We don't have to show up to bedsides. But if we decide to do that, we do it because we know what we're made of. We're made of this substance that is filled with compassion and kindness and love, and the capacity to continue to hold others in that place of love and kindness and tenderness, to hold other people's hearts so that they feel safe, knowing that we will continue to show up. And so that's what we can be grateful for this Thanksgiving season. Be grateful for what is within you, what the capacity is you have within you to be of service to your fellow human beings, to be of service to humankind, to your brothers and sisters, to your friends, to people who are suffering, and then to celebrate with those who are joyful. So let's go back and look at this lesson on gratitude. Lesson 123. God, Lisa, I'm sorry I didn't give you a heads up on this so you could have gotten your Ken Wapnick commentary ready. But I forgot to tell you. All right, 123. I thank God for his gifts to me. Today, let us be thankful. Let's say every day, let us be thankful. We have come to gentler pathways and to smoother roads. There is no thought of turning back and no resistance to this truth. A bit of wavering remains. Yes, a bit of wavering remains, because we have not yet gotten to this place of ultimate and non-unwavering evolution. We'd like to get there, but most of us haven't gotten there yet. Maybe someday. A bit of wavering remains, small objections, a little hesitance, but you can well be grateful for your gains, which are far greater than you realize. Far greater than you realize, because we don't really realize until it's in retrospect. Until we realize, oh, I did show up. I was able to function. I was able to be of service. I was able to get through the day without resisting the call to be there. That I was able to continuously just move forward, even as I was resisting, even as I was saying, no, I don't want this to be so. You see in retrospect what you were able to do. And in retrospect, you can give thanks for your very own growth, for the light that you are, for the light that you bring, for the light that you continuously shine. A day devoted to gratitude will add the benefit of insights into the real extent of all the gains which you have made, the gifts you have received. Be glad today in loving thankfulness. You have not been left to yourself, nor have you been left to wander in the dark alone. So be grateful that you can be saved from the self you thought you made, the self you thought you made, the self that you thought was incapable, the thought of yourself as less than the person who could rise so high. Because as long as you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be able to have that thankfulness for what it is you've accomplished when you were able to rise higher. Because you can't, because it's in you to do so. Today, in gratitude, we lift our hearts above despair and raise our thankful eyes, no longer looking downward to the dust. We sing a song of thankfulness in honor of the self that God has willed to be our true identity. Today, we smile on everyone we see and walk with lightened footsteps as we go to do what is appointed us to do. See, now, when I say appointed us to do, it takes us back to the idea that this has been scripted. Course tells us we're just watching unfold what has already occurred in time that is beyond our understanding. So we are looking at the unfolding of a script that has been written. Sometimes that's hard to accept because we think, well, what about free will? Well, free will still allows us to interact in the classroom and the playground. I'm going to try your suggestion here, Paul, to go back in here. And there we go. Well, actually, it's nope. See, it knocked us out. But I think that's something that I did. I'm pretty sure that's something that I did. All right, hang on. Technology in action. So, we have just talked about lifting our hearts about despair. Paragraph 5, we do not go alone. We give thanks that in our solitude, a friend comes to speak the saving word of God to us and thanks you for listening. These words are soundless. In thanking God, the thanks are yours as well. The thanks are yours as well because you're rediscovering yourself. It's not a new self. It's a rediscovered self. It's a remembering of who you are and how high you can rise and what it is that you are truly capable of. It's a remembrance. You give that remembrance in thanksgiving, like, oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I can do this. Whatever it is, whatever's been appointed to you to do. And that you could do it differently than perhaps you may have done it in the past. Maybe in the past you would, speaking for myself, you know, maybe in the past I might have had some resistance to showing up. And now it's more like being compelled to show up, wanting to show up. It's not, you know, when people say, oh, you're doing this, trying to, make it sound like I'm doing such a big thing. And I think, well, it's just what I want to do. You get to a point where you just want to show up. You want to be there. You want to be of service. It's an unfolding of the realization of who you are, and then giving thanks for who you are, giving thanks to yourself for the realization of who you are, and how you show up. So this says, this is for you. Thanks be to you who hear, for you become the messenger who brings God's voice with you and lets it echo round and round the world. So receive the thanks of God today as you give thanks. For he would offer you thanks, the thanks that you give. He receives your gifts in loving gratitude and gives them back 1,000 and 100,000 more than they were given. He will bless your gifts by sharing them with you. And so they grow in power and in strength, and they fill the world with gladness and with gratitude. And it sounds almost poetic, like poetic justice, that no matter what it is that we go through, no matter how difficult things may be at any given time, that we have these resources within us, because there's not going to be a day that we can wake up and know exactly what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. We could plan, we can have some ideas, we can have some joyful anticipation of what's going to unfold in front of us, but there may be times when things don't work out that way. So how do we handle our disappointment? How do we handle when things don't go our way? That's what we get to see within ourselves. That's what we get to celebrate when we see a shift, when we see a change that allows us to be more at peace with ourselves and with the world. We can take a nice deep breath at the end of the day and just say, I am thankful. I am thankful because as difficult as this day may have been, I had the resources of understanding within my heart that I am here to be of service, that perhaps one little moment in time between myself and another person allow for some body, mind, or spirit relief and peace. It's only two things we want in life: love and peace. Deep peace. And with the deep peace, we can be love, we can show love, we can receive love. We can allow love to be a gift of reciprocity. And those are the gifts that we give to the world. And the Course says that God itself thanks us for that. Thanks us, because then the world becomes a little bit better of a stabilized place to live in. Little by little, we're adding some more light. We're providing a little light. Not for thanks, to be given thanks, but to receive an inner thanks of our own selves, to be able to say, oh, I'm so glad that I can now feel at peace with myself and how I function in the world. You know the old adage of, you're not who you're going to be, you're not who you want to be, but thank God you're not who you used to be. You know, it's like we don't have to look back into yesterday's way of being. And if you're talking to someone who's only looking at you with yesterday's eyes, you know you are evolving. You know you are shifting into a place of seeing the world, seeing each other, and even seeing yourself with new eyes. With eyes of compassion and love and kindness and forgiveness. And that you can be thankful for at the end of the day, regardless of what occurred, regardless of whatever difficulties or hardships or sadness. All right, let's wrap it up with this. Paragraph 7. Receive God's thanks and offer yours to Him. And you will realize to whom you offer thanks and whom He thanks as you were thanking Him. So it's a reciprocity between us and spirit, between the spirit world and the human world, right? Beyond this time and space. Receive thanks and you will understand how lovingly He holds you in His mind, how deep and limitless is His love for you, how perfect His gratitude is for you. Remember to think on God, on spirit, whatever you call it. Think on your connection with the divine. And give thanks for everything. And know that you might rise above the world. You might rise above the world. What does that mean? To rise above the limited vision that we have of what it is that is occurring in this plane and in this time and space. That we can rise above it. That we can see it with eyes of understanding, of gratitude. And if it's not understanding, that at least it's a knowing. That if it's beyond our understanding, we can still trust the process. We can still trust that there is something. That there is something there for us to do. That there is a point to which we can rise. With thanksgiving, with gratitude, with appreciation. The synonyms. Lisa, did you want to say something?
I think I'll save it for conversations on Tuesday.
Okay, so following today, as you know, we have a follow-up conversation that takes place between myself and God and Lisa. That's on Tuesday. We pre-record a message and we put it on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So on Facebook, it's Miracles with a Twist Conversations. And on YouTube, it's MWAT Conversations. So it's the acronym MWAT Conversations. So look for whatever pearls of wisdom we will have to discuss as we unpack what it is that I read to you today. So that's it. I'm going to leave it at that because we want to hear this end song, the song of peace. We want to leave with a sense of connection to one another, with a remembering of who we are, with remembering of what we're capable of as we move toward the holidays. You know, someone once said, if you really want to test how far you've come on your spiritual path, watch yourself during the holidays. So if you're going to go visit people, or people are going to come visit you, you know, you start out all happy, like, oh, we're all going to be together, and then next thing you know, halfway through, your old family issues are triggered, and you know, you get to watch yourself. Watch yourself. If you know there's a particular family member that you're going to run into during Thanksgiving dinner, that triggers you, you know, decide ahead of time. You know what? I'm not going to allow myself to be filled with anything other than the remembrance of thanksgiving, the remembrance of love, the remembrance of compassion, the remembrance of who I really am, which is one who can rise above the battlefield. So let's all rise together. Let's take a nice deep breath. Exhale into your heart. So we give thanks for this opportunity to remember who we are, to remember who everyone else is that we come in contact with. And as we move into the season of Thanksgiving, we give great, deep, humble thanks for every opportunity we have to rise higher, to show up, to be of service. And even in those most difficult times, that we know that we have planted enough rich soil to bloom and to blossom into the servant of spirit that we know that we can be. We give thanks for this opportunity to continue to walk together and to rise together. So let's listen to this last song, and then don't go away. We'll have some final words. This is Andy Sussman.
When we hear one another, there will be peace in the world. When we understand one another, there will be peace in the world. When we love one another, there will be peace in the world.
How wonderful it is to know that we need not wait 1 minute more to make the world a better place. Thank Anne Frank for that pearl of wisdom. I saw Reverend Grace Telesco is on. Hello, so happy to have you with us. Let's end with this. Gratitude becomes a single thought we substitute for all our insane perceptions. God has cared for us and called us his children. Can we ask for more than this? Our gratitude will pave our way and shorten our learning time by more than we can ever imagine. Gratitude goes hand in hand with love, and where there is one, the other can be found. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this community. I wish you all the very best of Thanksgiving time, and I'll see you on December 1st. God bless you.